Good morning. Thank you for being here, or good afternoon, depending on where in the world you're coming to us from today. My name is Dave Rosendahl. Thank you all for being here. I want to welcome you to what we call our executive session briefing. It's a new format that we're trying. This is a brand new format that we've used a few times on the show. And the idea is to identify industry experts, folks who are practitioners of the things that all of you are interested in knowing more about, bringing them on the show and diving deeply into a topic. So today, I've asked Mackenzi, who's here with us, to come on the show so she can share with us how social selling has not only changed the way her part of the organization operates, but also how it's changed things for the organizations that we get to work with. In our time today, my goal is to go as deep as we can, Mackenzi, to understand your perspective on not only the necessity for social selling, for the businesses that are here, for the teams that are here, for the people that are here, but also I want to get into how folks can do it at scale. The how, the actual tactics are important because I want to deliver folks value to you, not only from the strategic perspective, but also rolling up the sleeves and getting the work done. So we're going to touch on all of those things with Mackenzi. I hope you're ready to go, Mackenzi. We're going to go deep today. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So as we get into this today, I want you to know that we do our absolute best to contextualize everything that we bring you based on you, the audience, because our goal is to deliver you value. My style, I like to get real-time feedback. I'm always asking you to drop comments in LinkedIn, Facebook, and Zoom, because the two-way conversation helps us bring you real-time insights that are going to bring you value. We have a lot of different industries here. The first thing I want you to do with me today is tell me, who are my commercial printers that are here with us? If you're in the print industry, drop the word print in the chat if that's you. I want to see that in Facebook. I want to see that in LinkedIn. I want to see that in Zoom. Who are my printers here with me today? I want to contextualize it to you if you're here. Okay, great. We do have our printer friends here with us, including Larry Vaughn. There we go. Awesome. Now, who are my agencies? Who are the agencies that are here? So if maybe you don't have print equipment, you're doing digital marketing services for clients. Who are the agencies? Let me see you over there on LinkedIn and Facebook, over here in Zoom. Who are the agencies? Drop the word agency in the chat if that's you. I see Andra, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. I see Bob saying agency, Marvin, James. Even if you're not a printer or an agency, you're still in the right place, folks. This is a community for you. We work with and power thousands of B2B, B2C brands. So if you don't fit neatly into a print category or an agency category, tell us the type of organization you are there over in the comments. Go drop that in right now. We can see it coming in here in the chat. I see James saying we do digital marketing for direct clients. Awesome. Cool. Tell us over on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. And if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook, one little tip, hit the like button for us right now, if you can. Not only is that going to help us reach more people this morning, but it also gets your name. I can see people doing it right now, your name out in front of more people. And that's a little social selling tip for you there. So thank you for that. And with that, I want to try to be as respectful of your time as possible. We've committed to 45 minutes today. So if you're ready for me to bring Mackenzi on and get into social selling, please drop a yes in the chat. I see you getting ready, Mac. You're getting pumped up over there. Drop a yes in the chat if you're ready. I'm going to officially welcome you to the show, Mackenzi, here in a second. And as you get yourself ready there on the mic, a couple questions that we always get here. Folks always want to know, is this being recorded? Yes, we are recording this. By virtue of the fact that you signed up today, you'll get an email from our team with a link to this and some of the resources that we give you. As I mentioned, I want you to remain interactive. If you just jumped in, you haven't missed anything yet, please keep those comments coming in the chat. I will be looking at them as Mackenzi is going through the material today. And we have a team of people in LinkedIn, in Zoom, and Facebook answering questions and engaging you. So stay interactive. And with that, I'm going to shut up and bring Mackenzi on to the show today. Mackenzi, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm really excited to be here. Hopefully I'll be able to provide some what I call actionable value. That means you're going to learn something here today that you can go put in place at your business, with your team, with yourself. And yeah, we're going to be talking about social selling and marketing and a specific tool that you can use to actually scale that out, because we know we're busy. So before that, I wanted to just kind of dive into some context. I'm one of those people that needs to look at something from a high level overview. So here's our roadmap for the session. And like I said in the beginning, if you heard me, I'm typically long-winded. So this is a challenge for me because I want to make sure that we get through the material in 30 minutes and leave you plenty of time. So let's call it 15 minutes at the end so we can make sure and go through all of your Q&A. So for today's session, starting from a really macro high level point of view, and then we're going to dive deeper into the details. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the recognition of the opportunity or potentially challenge, depending on where you sit, that you're faced with today and your company and your team is faced with. Next, we're going to dive a little bit more deeper into why this is important. When you recognize an opportunity or challenge, you have to think, why does this matter to me? And then after that, great, this is important. What can I do about it? So we're going to offer something specific that you can do about it. And then lastly, we're going to dive really deep. The most narrow and focused portion of the session is about, okay, great. I understand there's this opportunity or challenge. This is important and what I can do about it. Here's how I can actually put it into practice. So as it pertains to the topic, we're going to start with the opportunity and challenge. So let's dive right in. So like I said, we're going to start high level with this opportunity or challenge. Now, I'm not sure if you've been to any of our sessions before. Maybe you have. And if you haven't, we can send you a list of previous educational webinars we put on. Dave and I do a lot of talking about what we call omni-channel social selling. And one of the things that we assert based on what's happening in our business and all of our customers and what we see being done is that social selling, omni-channel social selling, is the key to unlocking where you are right now to grow your leads and sales. It is the key to bringing predictability to your business and what's become, and we've all experienced, a really unpredictable word. So before we dive into that, I just want to tell you what omni-channel is for those of you who may not have heard it before. It's a pretty simple premise, but basically omni-channel implores that you should find the optimal channel where your customers and prospects are hanging out, and that you should communicate with them in a way where you deliver value to them consistently. And if you do this consistently over a long period of time, you will grow your business. From a high level overview, you have a unique opportunity. And if you want to know why what's going on here, what it comes down to is that the world has drastically changed, which means that the way that we communicate has changed, right? The way that you spend your time now as a leader, salesperson, marketing person has changed from even a year ago, right? We were talking a few minutes ago about trade shows, right? We might have gone on a trade show floor to generate leads versus over the last year that hasn't been available. We've changed the way that we've communicated, and what we have found is that people are typically not just making decisions in isolation. And typically, you see this 5.4 on the screen. What that means is that there are typically 5.4 people, and actually some studies show 7, involved in a decision-making process. So it's not just one-to-one. You have to be in front of more people. And we have the ability to get more access to one another and information on one another than we ever had before. Meaning, we, with the internet and social media channels and places like LinkedIn, have the ability to connect with those 5.4 people. What this means, it's really amazing, is that we're no longer hamstrung by the ability to only reach people by phone, or to only show up at their business, or to only send an email. And not only are we not hamstrung by that, those ways don't work anymore. We've heard from many of you, hey, we're trying to do all these things and it's just not working the way it used to. The opportunity here is huge, right? Going back to the first part of our roadmap here, what you can do is, number one, leverage these social channels where your clients and prospects are living and hanging out. Number two, you can become visible in their ecosystem, meaning you can gain awareness among them and others involved in that buying decision process, those other 4.4 people beyond the one person you're going after, and you can start a dialogue with them, right? So here's the opportunity. Now, on the flip side, if you aren't doing this, you are going to experience challenges, or you may already be, that have the following symptoms. People aren't answering my phone call. I can't connect with them. I can't get in front of decision makers. What I'm doing doesn't work anymore. The people that I used to connect with aren't at that business anymore, right? You have an opportunity or a challenge, depending on where you sit in this. And by adopting the principles that we're about to talk about, you have an opportunity to pull away from the pack. So now let's transition, right? Let's go a little bit deeper. We've started here and we're kind of honing in here. Why is this important? So don't take my word for it. Let's look at the data, right? So it says here, you can see it on the screen, 81% of buyers are more likely to engage with a strong professional brand. And your brand is living on social media right now. What does your brand on social media say about you right now? I just want you to think about that for 3 seconds. The next thing is, let's look a little bit more into the data, right? So it says that sales professionals that view the profile of at least 10 people at each of their target accounts, right? So not even 5.4, but 10, are 69% more likely to exceed quota.
Fascinating.
And the data continues, right? 70% are more likely to get an appointment or an unexpected sale. Who doesn't want an unexpected sale if you are a member of a LinkedIn group? Right? So why is this important? If you're not living there, you are missing out on all these opportunities. And what we're going to do is we're going to teach you how to engage, right? Another one, reps that exceed quota get 74% more engagement on their posts than those that don't exceed quota, right? So again, are you understanding? We see there's an opportunity, but instead of just ignoring it, there's a why behind why this matters to you, right? This matters to you, it matters to your business. And again, I want to pause just one more second here so you can think. Is your team doing this effectively? Are your leads and sales where you want them to be? Is this an opportunity where you want to capitalize on it and challenge yourself to push your team further? Or are you potentially being left behind?
Why don't we get people to answer that in the chat, Mackenzi? Just drop us a little note. I see James, for example, saying no and no. Let's be honest for a second. Where do we stand?
The rest of you, where do you stand?
Yeah, tell us over there in Facebook. I see LinkedIn. A lot of people on LinkedIn. Don't be shy. Tell us. I want to know over on LinkedIn and here in Zoom. Answer Mackenzi's question. Where do you stand?
No and no. We're getting lots of no's. Yes and no. All right. That's good. Paul, Alexis, I want to see answers from the rest of you. Are you doing this now? And are you financially, your company, where you want to be? Awesome. I see someone, Joanne, yes, and H, yes. And she is employing these practices. So as you think about what are we doing here today, I want to tell you that these aren't just ideas that are sort of icing on the cake. These have become a necessity to your process. We understand now that there's an opportunity or challenge and why is this important. And so now what I want to do is sort of turn the corner, go a little bit more specific and talk about what you can do about this. So what you can do, and Dave, if you could just pull all of them up on the screen, it's okay if they're all there, we can show our cards before, is that you and your team can employ what we call the social selling and marketing framework to get the results that you want. Now, we're going to talk specifically about LinkedIn because LinkedIn right now is what we call an optimal channel, meaning we have access to one another, especially in the business world, and information on one another. What I want to talk to you about is that this social selling framework has 4 key components. I'm just going to quickly walk through it. And again, if you want to learn more about it, you can go back to previous sessions. The first thing that you need to do to be successful and start to employ this strategy to get those results we talked about is to establish your brand. Again, I asked you, what is your profile? What does your social say about your brand today? And you need to present your brand in a way where it's going to be attractive to the people and businesses that you want to work with, simply put. The second step in this process that you need to do, which is absolutely key, is you need to publish content that in the eyes of those people that you want to attract in step 1 is valuable, right? Not just stuff that you want to talk about, but stuff that, hey, you say, if I want to attract healthcare marketers, your page and your profile and your brand has to say that you help healthcare marketers, and the content that you publish has to help Healthcare marketers do their job better, learn something informative that's going to change their business, help them gain awareness, right? Now, once you've done that, that's not enough. The next step is you need to connect with those people, right? You've started to establish your brand, you're publishing content about healthcare marketing. And now what you need to do is go find companies and people at those healthcare marketing companies. Again, this is just an example. And you need to start to connect with them, right? And lastly, in this process, once you've done that, this is really key, you need to engage with people, right? This isn't just a broadcast. It's called social marketing and social media for a reason, because we want to, socialize with one another. You have to engage with those people and use what you see in red here, hashtags, which are indicators of posts that people follow when they're interested in healthcare marketing. So imagine you have Larry, who's in healthcare marketing, and he's looking for tips for healthcare marketers. He's going to use, let's call it healthcare marketing as a hashtag or something like that. You have to find what those are. And he's going to look for posts that speak to healthcare marketing and give him tips, right? So here is the framework in a nutshell. Again, we're not going to spend our time here, but if you want to learn more about it, we can give you more information. And to achieve the results we talked about, you have to be there. Now, the good news is that some of those symptoms that you may be experiencing is, wait a minute, I don't have people in my database. Let's call it healthcare marketing is a new segment or new audience or an industry you want to go after, right? And you're like, well, how do I get in front of those people if I don't even have them in my database? Well, the good news is when you employ that social selling and marketing framework, not only does it enable you to get in front of and deliver value to the people, but using hashtags and connecting with people and putting out content that's relevant to that audience enables you to solve what we call the above the funnel gap, which basically means let's fill the top of our funnel with people in our ideal customer profile. Does that make sense, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So, and if you could just skip through all those. Yep. So the next question I'm sure many of you are asking yourself, and actually it's going to speak to why we're here today, is cool, I'm going to do those things. How often do I have to do them? Right? One of the things that I like to think about, and I'm not sure if you're seeing these numbers on the screen like, whoa, Mackenzi, pump the brakes, that's way too many, or, oh, that looks just about right, right? But one of the things that I like to think about is that our actions, meaning the things that we do every day, have to match our ambitions, AKA the results we're looking to achieve, right? So if you're wanting to do those things we talked about, we want to impact your sales, you want to grow your company, we want to change the way that people perceive your brand, but you only want to get in front of those people once a month or once a quarter, those actions once a month or once a quarter are not going to lead to the results that you want, growing your business, getting new customers, all of those kinds of things, right? Everyone here on the call is ambitious. Based on the fact that you're sitting here today, you're spending your Friday morning or afternoon or whatever it is, taking time to be here at the executive briefing, you want to do more with what you've got, right? And just a few minutes ago, a lot of you said, no, we're not exactly where I want to be. No, our leads aren't where we want them to be, right? You're ambitious, you're here, and your actions say that you're ready to learn. But I also know that you're busy, right? But that saying, they say, if you want to get something done, give it to someone who's busy, right? So you're ambitious and you're probably busy, which is why that it's important that it's important that we give you a tool to do the things that I just said, to scale these 50 to 100 engagements and make it easier and quicker for you to do this, right? So now that we've talked about the importance, the why and the what, this is where it comes the fun part of what you're really here for. And let's talk about the next item on our agenda, which is how. So really quick, for those of you who don't know who MindFire is, we are a software services and training company. On the left-hand side, which is in red, that's our software. And what I'm going to do is walk you through the brand new features of our software, which enable you to scale out those social selling and marketing principles and steps in the process. So here you can see our software. This is a portion of our software called DaVinci. And on the left-hand side, you can see which covered in orange is the My Markets tab. So the My Markets tab is really where you start to unlock the social selling assistant, which we've introduced to help you do these things at scale. As I mentioned, in the first step of the process, you need to establish your brand by creating a target market so that you can start to find the right companies, your ideal customer profile, and publish content geared towards that target audience, right? So as you can see here on the screen, not only does it help you find those people, but the second step is publishing content. So what our tool enables you to do is publish content in 2 ways. So number one, if you have created content, let's call it, you came up with a post or an ebook or something that you've written that's relevant, going back to that example, to the healthcare marketing segment. Again, it applies to any segment. I just came up with healthcare marketing. So our tool enables you to automatically or mechanize the publishing of your own content, but it also enables you to repurpose content that's already working on the web. So here you can see that there was a target market. We searched for a keyword and the tool went behind the scenes and it started to deliver or show you content specific to this keyword. So this was in the printing space. So again, healthcare marketing, let's say you look for healthcare marketing, the tool is going to return a plethora of articles of content that's already published on the web about healthcare marketing or whatever that is, the topic. And not only that, it's going to give you some social engagement signals, meaning it's going to give you some insight into what people are actually liking. So you can see that top one, it got 63 Facebook engagements versus the one right below, it got 0 Facebook. So if you're posting on Facebook, the top one might be something that you want to use in your own marketing. Now, the next thing it's going to enable you to do is follow hashtags. In the social selling framework, we talked about how important hashtags are, because if you didn't know, hashtags aren't just fun. They're not things that you just need to put at the bottom of the post. Hashtags enable you to get in front of your audience that you're not getting in front of an audience that you're not connected to. So like I said, let's call it the healthcare marketers. Healthcare marketers are probably following hashtag healthcare marketing because they want to subscribe to or learn about healthcare marketing. If you use those hashtags, you can get in front of those people. So our tool here, as you can see, enables you to leverage hashtags, to follow them, to see how many followers they have, and see all the latest and greatest activity associated with those hashtags. Now, next up, and I want to spend a little bit of time here because I think this is really important, is the connection part, right? That's a huge part of this. Not only do you want to get in front of these people, but you want to actually start to connect with them so you can turn them into leads and sales. So Dave, if you can go to the next slide, what our tool enables you to do is search by companies, right? So maybe not only are you interested in getting in front of healthcare marketers, but you may have a Dream 100, a Dream 10, a list of high value customers or accounts that you want to get into, right? What the tool enables you to do is search for those people, those companies right here natively within the tool, right? So you can look for those people and it's going to return some relevant information. It's going to tell you the domain. It's going to tell you the LinkedIn follower count. It's going to give you some information that you can use. And if you can go to the next slide, it's going to take it a step further. So we've prepared an example here just to kind of show you how this works out. So let's just say you are a company who wants to get in front of Vistaprint, right? And again, it's not just one person. You have to be at least getting in front of 5.4, right? So you've followed Vistaprint. That's the first portion. It's found Vistaprint, the company, it's returned the domain. It showed you the LinkedIn followers. Cool. What's the next step in that? The next thing you're going to want to do is connect with and find people who actually work. Yep. Thank you, Dave. Work at Vistaprint. So you can see that little button he's sort of hovering over. Our tool enables you to find the people at these companies, and not just everyone. It allows you to set search criteria. So let's say you are trying to get in front of the marketing people or the management level, or specifically you want to talk to the CEO, right? It allows you to find the company, look for the people, and refine the search criteria so you can really get in front of your ideal customer profile. And once you've done that, the tool says, hey, we got it, we're looking for you, and we're soon going to return information. And what you're going to see here is it's going to return people that meet that criteria. So it took our search features and functions, and it said, hey, here are the people, you can see it, Emily, Paul, Ricky, Rick, that meet that criteria. And It allows you to then, again, narrow down the search. So let's say you want to focus specifically on the vice president, right? Imagine that's your ideal customer profile. Now, not only has it enabled you to do it, here's the fun part. Click next. It's going to enable you to add those people, those key contacts, in this case, the VP, or maybe you want to get a few other people, not just the VP, but you want to get some other people, and it's going to allow you to add those key contacts to your target market. So in this screen, you can see our target market. And if you look at the bottom, you're going to see that the tool has allowed you to add those people to the target market. Now, the cool thing is, once you've done that, you don't just want them to be in your tool. You want to start to make connections, right? What it's going to do, if you click next, is it's going to enable you to scale out that connection. You can go one by one through your list of, let's call it Dream 100 companies, and then 5.4, let's call it 6 people at each of those. So 100 times 60, you've got 600 people you need to connect with. You can go one by one, or you can employ the tool, the social selling assistant right here within the My Markets, to scale out or mechanize the ability to you to connect with all of those 600 people so that you can start to build up a one-to-one relationship. Now, once it has those people, you have some options. One of the options, which again is talking to filling the top of the funnel, is that you can download these as a CSV and you can add them to your marketing campaign. So let's say you're using our platform for email and communication for all of your selling and marketing campaigns. Not only can you download them, but you can start to add them to your marketing campaigns so that you can start to deliver value to them. The last thing is, as you can see it on the screen, is the engagement, right? Like I said, you can go and connect with them. You can go and visit their page. But one of the things that I think is really important before you do a direct outreach to someone is, as I told you in the beginning, is to become visible in their ecosystem. Let's say you're going to call Ricky, the VP, in 2 days from now. Do you think you have a better chance of Ricky picking up the phone or calling you back if it's the first time they've heard of you? Or if you have liked their posts on LinkedIn, you've connected with them, you've sent them that message when you connect with them, you connect with the other key people on Ricky's team, and then you call him, or that you just call him right away, right? Obviously, the first one, what the tool enables you to do is scale out that activity. And like we told you, if you want your ambitions to be that you want to grow your leads and sales, you have to do this. Let's call it 50 to 100 times per day. But again, you're busy. That's why we created this tool, right? To help you scale out those 50 to 100 engagement activities a day so that you can spend your time doing what's best, which is actually having those conversations, right? That's sort of the overview. But I want to take this one step further for my service provider friends. The next slide I want you to think about for a second, and what it says is, how do your customers perceive you and what you can do for them? So my print friends, how do your customers perceive what you can do for them? My agency friends, is it just that they view you as an SEO agency only, or that you can do lots of things? My B2C and B2B marketers, how do your customers perceive you? I want you to know that you have the ability to impact how people, your customers and prospects, perceive you. And a way that you can impact that is to do what you just described, to share valuable content. People see your name and brand more frequently. They see you proactively reaching out to them. They see you doing some of these newer or more relevant tactics, right? They see you doing these things and they think, Dave, James, Bill, Mike, Sally, all you, they start to think, this person's on top of it, right? When you start to become viewed as someone who's on top of it, then things like the following happen. Hey, Sally, I'm not sure if you can help me with this, but I have this really unique project that I was just, given by a customer. Can you help me? When you start to be viewed in this way by your prospects and customers, this new perception enables you to unlock new revenue streams in your company. Why does this matter? Number one, it impacts how you and your team spend your time. You want to be spending it liking, or commenting, or actually cultivating those relationships. It impacts your sales and your revenue. It impacts your ability to retain customers. It impacts your ability to attract new customers, which we all want. This is a good one. It impacts your ability to attract new talent, meaning people that want to work at your company are going to see you, perceive you as cutting edge, and want to work with you. It impacts your ability to create new high-value revenue streams. Again, the project of, hey, I don't know if you can do this for me, but I have this really cool project. Can you help? And most importantly, it impacts your ability to differentiate your organization from the millions of other companies out there.
Mac, you're doing pretty good on the time. Congratulations.
I did it.
Yes, you did. You succeeded. Hey, I see a lot of questions that came in. I've been monitoring them and the team's been chatting with them. So if you have a burning question that we've missed, please go into the chat and paste it in again. Don't worry about being persistent. Facebook and LinkedIn and Zoom, please. I see some kudos coming in saying, hey, this looks better than HubSpot. Thank you for that, Joel. That's very kind of you to say. Mac, with the 12 minutes that we have left, we're going to keep our commitment to everyone. First of all, did you get value out of what Mackenzi just shared? Drop some love in the chat. Give some X's, some O's, Facebook, LinkedIn, Zoom. If you got value out of what Mackenzi just shared, come on, give her some love, folks. Come on, let me see it. Come on, wake up. They're all awake. They're yeah, high level, says Carrie. Yep. Mark Stern says Mackenzi equals value. Oh, he put the E on the end of your name. I don't know if he's poking with you, but that's okay. We'll forgive that. Kim says awesome. Paul says this is great. No problem, Mark. I'm just giving you a hard time. Alexis says always great. So I want to give folks an opportunity now, Mackenzi, to understand what some tangible next steps are. We also have a free gift for everybody. Thank you to Joanne Gore, who is here. Joanne, thank you for that. I'm going to share that in just a minute. But Mac, sorry, I call you Mac. Folks, I call Mackenzi Mac for short. I'm not talking to my computer here. But
you can Mac, too. It's no problem.
I can. I often do talk to my computer. But what can we do to help people take a next step? What are some of the specific things that we can do to help?
Yeah. So if you do want to talk about next steps, how you can start to impact your team, provide this value to your team, start to differentiate your company, head over to mindfiremarketing.com/yes. mindfiremarketing.com/yes, and fill out that form, which you're going to see. It's going to look like the one that you see here on the screen on the right-hand side. What you can do is you go fill out that form. We are going to schedule some time on the calendar where, again, we came up here, we talked about how you can do this. And now what we're going to do with that call is talk about, okay, we know how to do it. Let's get you started. Let's talk about how you specifically, your business, your team can employ this to get better results. Let's talk about what your ambitions are. And let's make sure that your actions are matching so that every single day when you do those things, you're setting yourself up for success to achieve the results you want, to grow your business in the way you want, to grow your sales, to attract new talent, to differentiate your business, right? I want to make sure that we're helping you align those two things so that you are set up for success.
So I see the MindFire team dropping that URL in the chat. So Mackenzi, as I understand from what you told me right before we went on the air, you and your team have allocated some blocks of time to talk to people about this, right? Starting early next week. There's only a few spots on the calendar, folks. Limited. So if you do want to talk to Mackenzi, if you've gotten value out of what we've shared here today and you want to go deeper and understand how this can relate to your specific business, you have nothing to lose. Go ahead and go to that link. Mike and Suzanne and others in the chat are dropping that in. Take a moment, fill in your name, like you can see here on the screen. Let me move my big old head again. And tell us a little bit about what you're hoping to accomplish so that we can be ready to help you. Now, I mentioned something that I want to make sure all of you get. And if you go and sign up now, as Mackenzi said, mindfiremarketing.com/yes, and the team is dropping that in the chat there. When you do that, we've got a free gift for you. Joanne Gore, as I mentioned to you earlier, has been gracious enough to create a social selling guide that takes a lot of what we talked about today and breaks down some very specific, discrete, or like I always say, atomic next steps for each of those activities that you can put into place. You don't need our software. You don't need anything else other than this wonderful guide to understand what some of those things are. So when you sign up for a call, not only do you get to talk with Mackenzi, which is, I mean, that's that's like better than anything, right, Mackenzi?
Okay.
You also get this incredible guide.
And
So
James,
go there
James
now.
here in Zoom. Yeah, James here in Zoom asked, do you mentor people at this program? The answer is yes. James, if you want to talk more about that, head over to that link, fill it out, ask that question there, and we'll make sure to guide you through that and kind of give you the options about how we can help you do that.
I see another question that came in here from James. I don't know if it's the same James. What are the most, I think what he's saying is, what are the most helpful times during the day to perform each of those 4 tasks that we had there on the screen a second ago, Mackenzi? You want to answer that, or you want me to take a stab at that?
Why don't you take it and then I can go after you.
Okay. And I see we've got 8 minutes, so we're going to go as quickly as we can here. James, what I would recommend you do, and this is from not only doing it ourselves here at MindFire, but also working with numerous clients, is you got to figure out what's right for you and your audience. The whole omni-channel premise, as Mackenzi laid it out, is predicated on the notion that we need to find where our customers, our target market, is hanging out online, and we need to become students of that. We need to get married to that location, those locations, and their behavior. So the time of day that may work well for us here at MindFire may be different than, for example, our friends at HP that we've trained on how to use this process, right? It may be different for you. Generally speaking, as it pertains to LinkedIn, business days are usually really good, can be good. And then there's a couple of surprises. Often Saturday and Sunday perform very well. So you got to try out different things. We do have training that gives you insight into when the best times are for your particular industry and how to discern that, which we can talk about. If you jump on a call, we can go into that in more detail. So hopefully that helped you and others that are curious about that. Mackenzi, what would you add to that?
Yeah, I was going to kind of say the same thing. At the end of the day, your audience, your target market, the people that you're trying to get in front of are different, right? They are really the judge and the jury, right? We encourage you to try different things, test different things, even things that you're like, no one would ever do that. Oftentimes, those are the ones that end up working best. So I encourage you to test them out. We have a bunch of questions coming in about, can we get the recording? So yes, absolutely. Emily and others that are asking, we will be sending it out after this session. Let's see.
And I want to thank Joanne Gore again, Mackenzi, for the guide here. She's always such a supporter of the OptiChannel community. Joanne, thank you for that. You're a good friend and an incredible partner and resource in this community. So thank you for that. Mackenzi, what's the next question you want to
I was actually going to say, speaking of Joanne Gore, in the beginning of the session, when we asked you all, are your sales where you want to be and are you doing these things? She was the only one out of everyone, and we have tons of people here on the line today that said yes and yes. I mean, I want to give her kudos, but more importantly, I want to talk about her ambitions were to get there and her action supported that. If you go look at her and her activity, not only is she doing it, but look, she's creating guides about it as well. So just another testament to the fact that when you work this process, it works for you.
Yeah. Oh, Go ahead, Mackenzi.
I was going to dive into another question, but go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to the folks that are on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you're over there right now, please give us a like, give us some love. I see Joel saying thank you for being you, David. Joel, thank you for being you. We do all of this for you and for the community, so I appreciate those kind words. We got 5 minutes left here. We're going to keep our commitment. Mac, I'm going to ask everybody here a question, okay? So if you can look at the screen, folks, I've got a question for you, and I want you to think for a moment, and then Facebook, LinkedIn, Zoom, give me your answer here. I want to know, as Mackenzi unpacked this topic today, what was the one thing that stood out to you? If there was one thing where, see, I take notes on paper still. What was the one thing that you jotted down and you underscored or you highlighted or maybe you typed out that jumped out at you today? I want you to take a moment, give us that gift of this feedback, and tell us what stood out to you today. I want to see that in the chat here. Drop that in the chat. Over there in Facebook, over there in LinkedIn, in Zoom. Paul says the 5.4 people that you shared, Mackenzi, the fact that 5.4 people are involved in the buying process. James says, act on the strategy every day. Yes. Mark says that the actions match ambitions. John says customized leads. What was that, Mackenzi? When did you talk about customized leads? Do you remember?
I think what John's referring to is the fact that with the social selling assistant, you can customize your lead list by looking for the right companies, by finding the people, not only everyone, but the specific people that fit that criteria. I think in this case, the VP of whatever the company was is the customized leads that you're able to capture and fill the top of your funnel with, I think.
I see Glenn says his takeaway was that David talks to his computer. Look, Glenn, I'm passionate about technology. I think actually voice activated campaigns, the stuff that we're talking about here, are going to be a next step here in the future. That's actually something we're working on. So Glenn, it's partly joke, but partly very serious. So thank you for that. LinkedIn, come on. We want to see your feedback. The LinkedIn community is amazing. Don't let us down, folks. Go drop in a note there in LinkedIn. What stood out to you today? What stood out to you today? And Mackenzi, I'm going to put this back up on the screen one more time. I see people signing up. Do you know how many spots we have left by chance?
I don't know, but the spaces were limited to start with. So I would say if you are looking to have that one-on-one session, I would book it now, get it in the calendar. And then at that point, we could talk specifically about your needs, which I like to do because I feel like everything comes down to really you and your business and what you're doing and what you can do to get the results you're looking for. Tyler said something here, which I think is important to talk about. So Tyler says, we've been extremely fortunate with an influx of new business to the point that we're putting in hundreds of hours a week to keep up, which is amazing. Go Tyler. I don't want to miss the boat of creating LinkedIn content though. Any advice? So again, I don't know if you were here, Tyler, when I said it, but right, you're busy and you're ambitious because you're sitting here today. One of the things that I think is really important is that everything we just talked about, or I talked about throughout this session, doesn't just apply to finding new people, but it also applies to staying in front of the influx of new business that you already have. Because what you don't want to do is focus only on delivering to the new customers or focus only on finding new prospects, right? What you need to do is find a balance where you are using some of these tools to mechanize your time, because again, you're busy, right? You need to mechanize your time to scale out those activities where you are consistently staying top of mind in front of your current customers in a way where I would recommend a nurture campaign that you can sit back and just know, look, if I have a busy week, it's okay because the content is being delivered to all of my customers. Let's call it every Wednesday. In terms of LinkedIn content, right? In the same way, and I don't know if this, Tyler, in the same way that you can schedule out emails, you can also do things like schedule LinkedIn posts. You can comment on, you could like people's posts. You can find and connect with new people, right? So you have the ability to scale out your time by mechanizing those things that typically take manual work. So with the social selling assistant, we've made it possible to do that so that, again, you can spend your time delivering those, as you said, 100+ hours a week just to keep up with what you're currently doing. What do you think about that,
So let me ask
Dave?
the MindFire team, Mackenzi, one more time. If you can drop the link in to schedule a call with our team, drop that into LinkedIn, drop that into Facebook, drop that into Zoom. And folks, I can actually see the people that are on the site right now filling in the form. So if you are interested in talking, please make sure to take a moment, go over there and do that now. Yeah, thank you. I see, Mackenzi, it looks like you just dropped it in. This is the end of the session right here. So I'm going to give you the final word, Mackenzi. See if you can wrap up in 60 seconds or less. And I want to say thank you to everybody. Here's Mackenzi one more time.
Thank you so much. I'll say it's a good day today when we made it in under 45 minutes in a session. So yeah, most importantly, I just want to thank you for your time and let you that where you are doesn't have to be where you are going to be. Meaning you have the ability to impact your sales, grow your business, help your team make their lives easier, attract new talent, right? All those things are in your control. And the way that you can do that by modifying or manufacturing or creating and adjusting people's perception of you based on your brand, what you comment, how you engage, the content you publish. And not only can you do it, there's a tool out there that's going to help you scale and mechanize that so you can spend your time with talking to people and building those relationships. So with that, thank you so much. Happy Friday. As always, we appreciate your time. And if there's any other sessions you're interested in learning about or topics in the future, let us know. We're here for you. And we want to make sure that we're delivering you content that is relevant and helpful to you.
Awesome. Great job, Mackenzi. Thank you so much. Again, folks, if you got value out of Mackenzi's presentation, drop some exclamation marks in Zoom and Facebook and LinkedIn. Give her a little love.
Boost
and
my
especially
ego
my
a
LinkedIn
little.
friends. Huh?
I said, boost my ego a little.
Yeah, just give her a little love there. And MindFire team, one more time, drop the link in there to schedule a call with us and our team. If we can help you folks, we'll let you. If we can't, after hearing your situation, we'll be upfront and honest with you. That's how we do business. That's we believe that business should be done. So we'll let you, if we can't help you, we'll be very clear, but hopefully there's something we can do to help you and your organization achieve new heights. So with that, we'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you for being here. We'll look forward to seeing everybody next Friday for our next episode. Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Thank you, Dave.
Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend.